I still remember the exact moment my engagement ring stopped, feeling like a promise and started, feeling like a warning. It was a warm Sunday afternoon in May, the kind of day that looks perfect in photos. Sunlight spilled through the tall glass windows of the restaurant, turning the white tablecloths golden. People at nearby tables kept glancing over, smiling at my left hand, whispering congratulations. I was supposed to feel like the luckiest woman in the room. Instead, my stomach was tight, and my fiancé Ethan hadn't looked me in the eyes for more than 5 seconds. We'd been engaged for exactly 3 weeks. 3 weeks of forced smiles, staged Instagram posts, and his family acting like they generously accepted me into something exclusive. Ethan was the golden boy. 6-figure finance job. Polished smile. Parents who loved reminding people their son was going places. And me? I was the girl who should be grateful he chose her. At least, that's how his mother liked to imply it. Ethan kept checking his phone, tapping the screen, flipping it face down, then picking it up again. Every vibration made his jaw clench. I tried to ignore it, telling myself this was just wedding stress. Everyone says engagement changes people, right? But then the comments started slipping out quiet, casual, sharp. You've been intense lately. Marriage is a big responsibility. My mom thinks we rushed this. That last sentence landed like a crack in glass. His mom had always smiled at me, hugged me too tightly, called me sweetheart, while asking questions that felt less like curiosity and more like inspections. Where did my parents work? Did I plan to keep my career after marriage? Was I traditional? I told myself I was imagining the judgment. I wasn't. The night everything ended, Ethan didn't raise his voice. He didn't cry. He didn't even sit next to me. He sat across the room on my couch, elbows on his knees, hands clasped together, staring at the floor like a man rehearsing bad news. I don't think we should get married, he said. Just like that. No warning. No hesitation. For a second, I laughed one sharp, broken sound that didn't feel like it came from me. What are you talking about? He exhaled slowly, like I was the unreasonable one. My parents did some digging. About your family. Your background. Your ambition. Ambition. The word echoed in my head. They think you're not the right fit long term, he continued. And honestly, I'm starting to see it too. My chest tightened so hard it hurt to breathe. So you're cancelling our marriage, I said slowly, because your parents told you to. He didn't deny it. He just held out his hand and asked for the ring back. That's when I realized this wasn't the end of my love story. It was the beginning of something else entirely. If Ethan had ended things quietly, if he'd just walked away and let me disappear with my dignity, I might have healed in silence. But he didn't. 3 days after, he took the ring and erased me from his life. His mother posted on Facebook, "Sometimes God protects you from the wrong marriage. So proud of my son for listening to wisdom. No names, no details. Just enough to light the fuse." By that evening, the post had dozens of likes and comments. Amen. You raised him right. God's plan is always better. Every heart emoji felt like a finger pointing straight at me. Everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. My phone stayed quiet at first. Then the messages trickled in slow, awkward, wrapped in fake concern. "Hey, I heard things didn't work out. Hope you're okay. So sorry. These things happen for a reason. I guess it just wasn't meant to be." What they really meant was, "What did you do wrong?" The worst part wasn't the whispers. It was Ethan's silence. He never defended me. Not once. He let the story turn ugly. He let people believe I was unstable, demanding, too focused on my career. Someone even told me he'd said I was pressuring him into marriage. Me, the woman who said yes because she trusted him. I started noticing the small humiliations everywhere. Mutual friends stopped inviting me out. People who once hugged me tightly now offered tight smiles and quick excuses. One girl from his social circle, the one who always complimented my dresses, messaged me out of nowhere. "I don't want to pry," she wrote, "but I heard you were kind of intense about the wedding." I stared at my phone, my hands shaking. Intense. That was the word they used when a woman wanted stability, respect, and a future. At night, I replayed every moment of our relationship, searching for the flaw that made me disposable. My apartment felt too quiet. The walls felt closer. I cried on the bathroom floor, biting my hand to stay silent, embarrassed that I was still protecting a man who didn't deserve it. What hurt most wasn't losing Ethan, it was losing my identity. I went from the fiancé to the problem overnight. And the cruelest part, Ethan moved on like nothing happened. New gym selfies, weekend trips, smiling photos with his parents like they hadn't just helped destroy someone's life. That's when something inside me shifted. Because if they wanted a villain in their story, I decided I'd give them one. And this time, I wouldn't be quiet. Revenge doesn't always begin with anger. Sometimes, it begins with silence. After weeks of crying myself to sleep, I woke up one morning and realized something terrifyingly simple: I had been erased. Not just from Ethan's life, but from the narrative he and his family were telling. In their version of events, I was the unstable, almost wife who couldn't measure up. The cautionary tale. The mistake they narrowly avoided. And no one was asking for my side. So I stopped explaining. I stopped correcting rumors. I stopped defending myself. Instead, I started watching. I noticed how carefully curated Ethan's life was. His reputation mattered more to him than anything, more than love, more than honesty, more than me. His parents didn't just raise a son. They raised a brand. Country club dinners, charity events, perfect smiles for perfect people. And Ethan was desperate to protect that image. That was my first clue. One night, while scrolling mindlessly, I saw it, a LinkedIn update. Excited to announce my promotion to senior analyst. Hundreds of likes. Dozens of congratulatory comments. His mother even commented, "So proud of you, sweetheart." I laughed out loud. Not because I was happy for him, but because I knew the truth behind that promotion. 2 months before our engagement ended, Ethan had come home drunk and frustrated. He'd complained about his boss, his workload, the shortcuts his department was taking to make quarterly numbers look better. He'd vented like people always do with someone they trust. I'd listened. I'd remembered. Back then, I thought nothing of it. Now, it felt like a loose thread hanging from a very expensive suit. That's when I stopped being sad and started being careful. I went through old messages, emails, voice notes. I didn't rush. I didn't panic. I treated it like a puzzle. Every detail mattered. Dates, names, numbers, kind of information you forget about until someone tries to rewrite history. And the more I looked, the clearer it became. Ethan hadn't just betrayed me emotionally. He'd been reckless. Late nights at the office that didn't match his timesheets. Client dinners that lined up perfectly with expense reports that felt inflated. Casual jokes about massaging the data to keep investors happy. All things he'd said assuming I was harmless. Assuming I'd always protect him. The irony didn't escape me. While he was busy telling the world I wasn't wife material, I was quietly realizing I held something far more dangerous than a ring. I held the truth. And for the first time since the engagement ended, I felt steady, calm, focused. I wasn't plotting yet. I was preparing. Because if Ethan and his family cared so deeply about reputation, then that was exactly where the story would end. Not with me begging for understanding, but with them wishing they'd never underestimated the woman they tried to discard. I didn't expose Ethan right away. That would have been too easy, too messy, and honestly, too kind. Instead, I let him feel safe. I watched from a distance as his life upgraded itself without me. New tailored suits, better car, Subtle flexes on social media, airport lounges, whiskey glasses, skyline views. The kind of posts meant to say I'm winning. His parents leaned into it too. Charity galas, fundraisers, smiling, photos with captions about integrity, faith, and strong family values. His mother even posted an engagement throwback of Ethan alone, ring box cropped out, captioned, "Everything happens for a reason." I saved it, not out of spite, out of patience. Meanwhile, I got quieter. I updated my resume, took on extra freelance work, reconnected with an old college friend who worked in corporate compliance. Not to ask for favors, just to listen. To learn how investigations actually start. What gets taken seriously? What gets ignored? Revenge isn't about rage. It's about timing. One night, Ethan texted me out of nowhere. "Hope you're doing well." 6 words. No apology. No accountability. Just a temperature check. Like I was a forgotten app he considered reopening. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "Doing great. Hope you are too." And that was all it took. After that, he got comfortable. He started liking my posts, watching my stories, sending the occasional neutral comment. He needed to believe we were on good terms, that I wasn't a threat, that I'd moved on. What he didn't know was that I was documenting everything. Every inconsistency, every brag, every careless remark about work. He'd mention numbers that didn't match public filings, deadlines that didn't exist, deals that were handled creatively. I never asked questions. I just listened. Then the opportunity came quietly, like most disasters do. His firm announced an internal review. Routine, they said. Nothing serious. Ethan even joked about it when he mentioned it in passing. Just compliance theater. He laughed. They'll rubber stamp everything. That night, I opened a folder on my laptop labeled simply Timeline. Inside was screenshots, dates, audio, clips, messages, not accusations, facts. I didn't send them anonymously. I didn't leak them to social media. I didn't want chaos. I wanted credibility. So I submitted everything the clean way through the firm's ethics reporting. Channel. Calm. Professional. Factual. No emotion. No name calling. Just the truth. When I finally closed my laptop, my hands were steady. My heart wasn't racing. Because by then, I wasn't angry anymore. I was done being invisible. And Ethan's untouchable life. It was already cracking, he just didn't hear it yet. The first sign that something was wrong came 2 weeks later. Ethan stopped posting. No gym selfies. No skyline shots. No smug little updates about grinding and blessings. For a man who lived off validation, silence was never accidental. I knew something had reached him. Maybe not the full truth yet, but enough to make him nervous. Then he called me. Not texted. Called. I almost didn't answer. Almost, but curiosity won. "Hey," he said, his voice tight, strained in a way I'd never heard before. "Have you heard anything weird about my firm?" I leaned back on my couch, staring at the ceiling. "Weird how?" A pause. Too long. The kind that gives away fear. They're auditing my department. Like, really auditing. People are getting interviewed. I hummed softly, like I was thinking. That's stressful. Another pause. Then, carefully. "You wouldn't happen to know why this is happening, right?" There it was. Not an accusation. A probe. He was testing the ground, trying to see if I'd flinch. I didn't. "No idea," I said calmly. "Maybe someone finally noticed something." He laughed, but it sounded brittle. Forced. "Yeah, maybe." We hung up a minute later. He didn't say goodbye. After that, things unraveled fast. A mutual friend messaged me asking if I'd heard. Ethan was taking a leave. His mother deleted half her Facebook posts. The firm released a carefully worded statement about ongoing internal reviews and temporary restructuring. Temporary. That word disappeared a week later when Ethan's name quietly vanished from the company website. No announcement. No farewell post. Just gone. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post cryptic quotes or pour a glass of champagne. I sat in my kitchen and let the silence settle. It felt heavy but clean. Like air after a storm. The fallout didn't stop with his job. The charity board his mother bragged about. He resigned for personal reasons. Country club invitations slowed. Whispers replaced praise. People who once praised his integrity suddenly avoided eye contact. Reputation is a fragile thing. Once cracked, it never looks the same. Ethan texted me that night. "I know it was you." My thumb hovered over the screen. "Why?" he sent next. "I already left you alone." I stared at that message for a long time. Finally, I replied. "You didn't leave me alone. You rewrote me into a lie." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "I was protecting my family," he wrote. I smiled slow, satisfied. So was I. That was the last message we ever exchanged. And for the first time since the engagement ended, I slept without replaying the past. Because the truth had finally caught up to the man who thought I was too small to matter. People always imagine revenge as loud. They picture shouting matches, public meltdowns, dramatic apologies that come too late. But what happened after everything settled was almost painfully quiet, and that's how I knew it was real. Months passed. Ethan didn't bounce back the way people like him usually do. In his world, failure was supposed to be temporary, something money or connections could smooth over. But interviews stalled. Offers evaporated. Recruiters stopped calling back after internal reviews. His name still carried weight, just not the kind you want attached to yours. His parents disappeared from the spotlight they once worshipped. No more charity galas. No more inspirational Facebook posts about faith and family values. They switched churches, then neighborhoods. People noticed when the invitations stopped coming. Consequences don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper forever. As for me, my life didn't magically become perfect. Healing isn't cinematic. It's slow, uneven. Some mornings I still woke up angry, not at Ethan, but at myself for how small I'd allowed myself to become. So I rebuilt carefully. I moved into a new apartment with windows that faced the sunrise instead of the street. I took a role at a company that didn't flinch when I talked about ambition, leadership, growth. For the first time, no one asked me to soften myself to be acceptable. I stopped explaining my past. I stopped defending my worth. I stopped carrying shame that was never mine. One afternoon, while cleaning out old boxes, I found a photo from our engagement night. I stared at the girl in the picture, smiling, hopeful, trying so hard to be chosen. I didn't hate her. I thanked her. Because loving him taught me something painful but necessary. Anyone who needs you quiet, smaller, or doubting yourself was never building a future with you. They were building a pedestal for themselves. Ethan didn't lose everything because I was cruel. He lost everything because he underestimated the woman he tried to erase. I didn't destroy his life. I didn't chase revenge for pleasure. I simply told the truth and stepped out of the way. And in doing so, I got something far more valuable than a ring or a wedding. I got myself back. So if you're reading this while questioning your worth because someone walked away, humiliated you, or rewrote your story, remember this. The most powerful revenge isn't payback. It's becoming untouchable. And once you do, they never stop regretting it.